winning a trophy and getting one goal, then obviously getting the penalty to two, then handed the third, and it could have been more.
Could have been more. That first one was so key, Joleon, because I think had we not got it that early, the fact it was Goodison, the way that Everton would set up, I don't know if it would have played out that way. It needed somebody to come and grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and we just had the camera on him there. That man, Phil Foden, stepped up. I mean, an unbelievable finish, but also capping off a man-of-the-match performance as well.
Yeah, and a run of form. And I hate to use the word form with Phil because I just think it's the way he plays. I just think form means he doesn't have them games, and he literally pretty much has them every week. And yeah, type of goal he probably should score more of, being able to shoot from outside the box. We've seen him hit the post after that, but in regards to him contributing, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone because I think he's took the mantle of Kevin being out on his shoulders and just tried to impact every game.
We had a question come in on WhatsApp. I just want to find out the person's name, Joleon. It was Abdallah. Thanks for your WhatsApp question. He says, is Foden on the right path to becoming a club legend? I mean, kind of already.
Yeah.
He's already, but...
I think he is. I think, like, just the longevity to his career is going to allow that, regardless of what else he goes on to win. I think he wins other trophies. I think there's a bigger question in, does he go on to become England's best player? I think he becomes arguably the most decorated player England have ever produced, the trophies he has now and what he can potentially win. But I think there's a real question of, does he become the best ever player England have produced?
Phil, what do you think on...
Yeah, that's a big statement.
Phil on Phil.
It's a big statement, but you can see the attributes he's got, and for me, the key thing is for him to becoming a legend, not only at City, but obviously with his country, is staying there, playing there and being a number one pick. First name on the team sheet. At the moment, you'd say he probably is. He's, like I say, he's getting a continual amount of games at Man City and performing well. With England, he's not quite there yet. He's in and out a little bit. I think once he does get a run of games, like Joel says, he does produce pretty much every time. It's just the amount of games he gets. But, like I say, fast forward 4, 5, 6 years, will be the answer to those questions. It's not easy. You look at the players that, you look at Harry Kane's scoring record, Rooney's, you guys, as you know, these sorts of people that he'd have to be in the reckoning with for international level. But he's definitely got the ability and he's definitely got time on his side. And at the moment, as you can see behind us, he's racking up the trophies, so he's doing okay.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, the only thing that may go against Phil is because he can play in a lot of positions, you may not recognise the best of him, not see the best of him, recognise it. I think if every other great has only played one position. They only play there. Like, for us, it was like Joe Cole was unreal, weren't he? But he played in so many positions, you probably don't recognise how good he actually is for the team. And if that could be part of Phil.
Yeah, the team doesn't get built around you then.
Yeah.
You sort of make the team better by being the best right winger, the best number 10, the best holding player. So that's like you said, that's the only thing with Phil is if he was probably less productive in other positions, he'd only play there.
Yes.
I know everyone else would get pushed to the side or done whatever, but like I say, because he's such a good
Gerrard
footballer.
was similar, kind of, well, Scholes coming in, Gerrard has to go on the wing, and Scholes then has to go on the wing, and it's like, if you just say, this is your position, and everyone else has to fit around that. And I think England can do that now because they've got so many players, but in terms of how important Phil is to Man City...
Yeah, I think that's a given, isn't it? I think what it feels like this season as well is, though, because he has got, I guess it's his own, it's the bar that he's set, and as you say, he doesn't have a bad game, but it feels like it is now like, how can he go and have that game where it's Phil that pulls us out the mud? You know, it's Phil that, when we need someone, you see De Bruyne step up. I feel we've had glimpses now this season in a few games where
because they are not there. So, like I said, it's always easy to see how good someone is when they're probably not the only one, but like Haaland's not there.
Yeah.
Kevin's not there. So Phil isn't playing any less than he did when they were there.
Yeah.
When they're there doing what they do. There is a bias. There is going to be a bias to a Kevin De Bruyne or Haaland.
Yeah.
But Phil Foden has the qualities they have in different ways, but it definitely has the importance.
Absolutely. Man of the match for Phil Foden tonight at Goodison Park. Second goal, Phil, it was a penalty. I mean, talk us through the actual, the decision. Was it Unana, I think was the player who was deemed handball. I must say as well, it's so hard to know these days. Probably a little bit unlucky.
It is difficult. The fact of the matter is he's 6'3", whatever he is. He's try his best to block it. Unfortunately, his arms are above his head. I think it is quite naturally, if you were to try and do that motion, I'm not going to try and do it now. If you were to do that motion, you can't do that and have your hands behind your back or your hands on your body. You just do it, sort of hoping that it hits another part of your body.
Yeah.
So you throw yourself in there and you're thinking, please hit me in the face or in the knee first or whatever. But when you do it, if your arm's anywhere there, it's
silly that he's given. Like, listen, I'm not begrudging that he's given because it allowed us to go in the lead. But like you're saying, I think if you looked at 100 sliding tackles, 100 blocks, whatever it may be, their arms are going to be in that position. So then that should determine that isn't an unnatural position.
Yes.
I think it's easier to... There's a logical process that can be applied to that would allow that not to be a pen.
If you jump towards someone and almost starfish,
spread out, yeah.
It's making yourself bigger. If you're jumping at an angle, your body knows that it doesn't want to just whack itself on the ball.
Just for balance, you need your arm. Where else can it be?
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just saying, unfortunately for you, you hope it hits you somewhere else.
Yeah, rather than
exactly. So,
well, I guess as well, not to go down the rabbit hole of all the conversations that have been happening all season, but there is something to be said as well. Like you say, maybe someone or an ex-player who understands maybe things a little bit more would help with those decisions, because you two have sat there and said it's not unnatural.
Yeah, but when I've explained it to you, you've understood the logic of that. So that isn't an ex-player expertise.
No,
That's just someone looking at and thinking, well, surely if we look at that same scenario that hasn't hit someone's hand and is his hand in that same position, you're going to see it is. So then it's not unnatural. He's not the only person that's ever blocked a shot with his arm like that, sliding, is he? So it's not an unnatural position. That's what I'm trying to say.
It was so unlucky there for Everton, but obviously was in City's favour. Joleon ALVAREZ, second goal scorer. Third goal came towards the back end. Everton had pushed slightly, but they once they took off they brought on Calvert-Lewin, but they'd kind of lost the momentum at that point, hadn't they, Phil? They kind of tried to fashion a few chances, but didn't really.
Yeah, I think Man City sort of took control of it, and it's one of the hardest teams to go and chase, and it happened. I think the ball went back to Jordan. I think, looking back, hindsight's an easy thing. He potentially could have cleared it first time. Took a touch. It wasn't the best of touch. Got a deflection. I think ALVAREZ closed him down well, and then it just hits Brentford on his leg, and it, the rest is history. Look, the worst person with left foot, probably behind Foden today, but normally the worst person left-footed to just curl one in the far corner was obviously Bernardo Silva, and it was sort of game set match from there. But like I say, I kept it at 2-1. Maybe you guys would have got a bit tweaky towards the end, obviously, after the Palace game, but 3-1, it was home and dry. It
was home and dry. Well, we're going to take a pause there because we can now hear from FG and Steve Howie. They've been at Goodison Park this evening. Let's see what they made of the game.
Yes, full time here at Goodison Park, and what a way to end 2023. The Big Five winners, champions of the world. It was a difficult night, though, wasn't it, Steve?
It was, yeah. You've got to say fair play to Everton. They made it difficult. We knew that was going to be the case. The atmosphere here as well. With Everton going 1-0 up as well, the character the lads showed was absolutely superb. And in the end, thoroughly deserved the win.
There was moments, of course, especially at half-time, where people were scratching their heads. Are we lacking a little bit of a cutting edge? We definitely weren't lacking a cutting edge with that equaliser from Phil Foden, were we?
Oh, it was an absolute belter. I mean, he's hit it so sweetly. I mean, Jordan Pickford, I think, is a very good goalkeeper, but it was past him before he dives. It hits the back of the net, and he's still in the air. So he hits a fantastic strike. Didn't even think about it, just got out his feet. And what we see is just laced it.
I wonder if people will be comparing that goal to the Dortmund game, where Phil Foden did something very, very similar, albeit during, I think it was during lockdown it was. And then we got the second goal, a penalty. No complaints about the penalty. It went to VAR, it was a penalty. But as a striker, to wait that long to take the penalty, it was good composure from Joleon, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the referee ended up booking the goalkeeper, because you could see he was trying to play mind games, trying to be a little bit silly, obviously just trying to put ALVAREZ off. Listen, ALVAREZ, even though he's very young, he's very experienced, and that doesn't bother him. He's just going, well, carry on, get booked, puts the ball down, sticks it in the back of the net.
He does indeed, and then the third goal was in the closing stages. Everton looked like they might have created a couple of other chances, but it's just a mishap from the goalkeeper, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think he's a good goalkeeper, but is he prone to sometimes them kind of things? I would say yes, and he does again. He doesn't clear the ball properly, but what a finish as well by Bernardo Silva. I mean, he is just like a magician, isn't he? Just so composed, a dink with a bit of curl on it, bounces in the back of the net. Fantastic finish.
Great finish indeed. You can probably see the pocket of stewards behind us as the away end empties. A word on them today, because they were absolutely fantastic, weren't they?
Noisy, I would say. Very, very noisy. I mean, we've just obviously went across there to try and do this. and the noise was superb. And then when we were sitting during the game, that's really all you could hear. To be fair to Everton fans, they sort of let themselves be known as well, but City were brilliant.
Well, they've been brilliant all throughout the year. It's been a great year following Manchester City away from home. That's our last away game of 2023, so thank you guys for watching us pitchside. We'll hopefully be back in the new year, but we have got one more home game to go against Sheffield United. I'm going to try and get in the away end and start singing that we're champions of the world. So we'll see you guys soon. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers.
Thanks, FG, and thanks to Steve there as well. As always, thank you to the incredible Manchester City away sport. As FG said there, it's been incredible all calendar year, as always. Up next, then, is our final home game of the season, Sheffield United, Saturday. FG is going to be with you on Matchday Live. Joleon, no team likes coming to the Etihad, but, given Sheffield's current form, very unlucky as well yesterday with the 2 own goals. It's probably not a prospect they're excited for, but for City, chance to hopefully get this momentum going now, which we know is going to be key as we move into Jan.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris Wilder, he doesn't seem like the kind of manager or coach that wants to win by being defensive and hard to beat. He wants to win by just outplaying the opposition. He'll obviously respect Man City, but his teams are good to watch, whether they win or lose. They're exciting games, and that's always a good sign for me. When teams play to win and not to lose against Man City, I think they always come up short, and I don't see anything different on the weekend. No,
for a former team for you there as well, Phil. Difficult start. They brought in Chris Wilder. It does feel maybe under Chris, hopefully, take out maybe City at the Etihad, because I think it's the hardest fixture for most teams. Hopefully can maybe muster up a bit of a run of form in the second half of the season. Yeah,
I think so. I think obviously it was disappointing, the result the other day, but the transfer window will open. There'll be a little bit of wheeling and dealing in there, and I think, for me, you're probably better off getting the Man City game out of the way before that opens, and it's a free hit. Obviously, it was quite a tight game at Bramall Lane, but same again, it's sometimes a different prospect playing out there, but you never know. Obviously, they'll come with a game plan. They'll try and keep it as close as they can for as long as they can and see how it goes, but I think Chris will be looking to get a few people in and out, put a bit of a surge towards the second half of the season, and if it isn't to stay in the division, it'll hopefully to lay the foundations to have a successful season next year.
Absolutely. From the City point of view, we said, massive game this for City. One, just to, coming back from the Club World Cup, but also to try and really close that gap and get some momentum going. Does feel now, hopefully, with that win, given it was at an in-form Everton team, Joleon, that we can really try and kick on, I guess, a little bit now, maybe put together a run that's eluded us so far this season. Yeah, and we've known over the last 5 or 6 years, City at any point can go on a 10 winning streak, which is strange to even say. But yeah, now if that happened, I don't think anyone's surprised. And listen, City can at any moment put teams to the sword. So Sheffield will know how tough this game is going to be on the weekend, but especially at the Etihad, City will always be confident. Absolutely. Speaking of Sheffield, we've actually got Neil Warnock in the studio at the weekend. He's alongside Michael Brown with FG. Man that you played under as well. Good memories from that time, Phil? Yeah, good memories for both, with Michael and obviously the gaffer. But yeah, so I'm not surprised Brownie's brought his dad in for the game. But no, what a great guy, gave me a chance in football. I'll be forever thankful, and I'm sure he'll have many stories to tell you, and I'm sure Brownie will probably talk you through all the goals he scored at Sheffield as well. Lovely stuff. I'm sure we'll be playing them that on the show as well. Phil, it's been an absolute treat. Thank you. Joleon, thank you. And before I go, Bradley Good in Wythenshawe, you are the winner of that competition. 2 tickets to come to the Etihad Stadium. I know you've not been before, so buzzing that you've
Harry
won that.
As well.
Harry, of course, I'm so sorry. Harry got his prediction spot on as well. If you haven't seen that video, we actually we brought the 5 trophies to Harry's house. It's well worth the watch on mancity.com. He called 3-1, so the boys in blue doing that for a little Christmas present there for you as well, Harry. Thanks again for coming on the show. And Bradley, we will be in touch. So we're back on Saturday, as I say. FG will be with you. That's it from us this evening. Massive thank you to Joleon, Lescott, Phil, Jagielka. Absolute pleasure. And thank you to you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll be seeing you in the new year. So left for me to say is wishing you all a very happy and prosperous new year. Good night.
champions! That's got to go somewhere. Nah, it will. No, it will. Yes!